Good evening and welcome to the Durham Planning Commission. The members of the Durham Planning Commission are appointed by City Council and the County Board of Commissioners to make recommendations to the elected officials. We emphasize that the elected officials have the final say on any issue before us tonight. If you are attending in person and wish to speak on a particular agenda item, please register on the sign-up sheets located on the table to my left. You will be called upon to make your comments at the appropriate time. You may also call in during the meeting by dialing 1-301-715-8592. If you call in during the meeting, you will need to wait until the particular public hearing you are interested in starts. After all of the pre-registered speakers have shared their comments, I will ask if there is anyone else wishing to speak. At that point, you will need to digitally raise your hands by pressing *9 on your phone. And when recognized, state your name and address before making your comments. The applicant has a total of 10 minutes for their presentation. Each speaker after the applicant has 2 minutes to speak. Commissioners will be given 5 minutes for question and answer. Please keep your comments succinct. Commissioners, as a reminder, after the public hearing is closed, you obtain the floor by being recognized by the chair. The time to make all public statements is before motions are made. All motions are stated in the affirmative, so if a motion fails or ties, the recommendation is for denial. After the case you are here for ends, please exit the chambers quietly and pursue further discussion in the lobby as the Commission continues its meeting. Finally, I ask everyone here and on the Zoom, the Commission members, the staff, and the public to conduct themselves in a courteous and respectful manner. If someone fails to act in that manner, the chair will ask the offending person or persons to be muted on the Zoom or asked to leave the council chambers until such time as they regain personal control. If decorum fails to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until a genuine commitment to act respectful and courteous is observed. Roll call. May we have the roll call, please?
Chair Chagaris.
Here.
Vice Chair Cameron. Commissioner Bailey. Commissioner Capers.
Here.
Commissioner Clemens.
Here.
Commissioner Chakowski. Commissioner Hunter.
Here.
Commissioner Juarez Maldonado. Commissioner McIver. Commissioner Montez.
Here.
Commissioner Neunkirchner.
Here.
Commissioner Piontek. Commissioner Ritchie.
Here.
Commissioner Wouk.
Here.
A quorum has been established.
Item number 3, adjustments to the agenda.
We have one adjustment to the agenda. Items 6C and 7A will be heard as a joint public hearing because those items are related to each other. You'll get a joint presentation. There'll be a joint public hearing. However, we will need for those to be 2 different motions and 2 different votes when you do vote on the item.
Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda, approval of the minutes and consistency statements. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the what is it?
The minutes and consistency
The minutes and consistency statements.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Ritchie and seconded by Commissioner Hunter to approve the minutes and consistency statements. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any nays? No. The ayes have it. Item number 5, public hearings, initial zoning map changes, Leesville Storage 2, Z25, 00033A, BDG 25, 00021. May we have the staff report, please?
Good evening, Chair Chagaris and Planning Commissioners. My name is Javar Jones, and I'm here tonight to present Z25-00033A, Leesville Storage 2. The request is for a direct translational zoning of commercial general and commercial general with a textual development plan of 3 parcels totaling 25.22 acres located at 2935 US Highway 70 East and 4615 as well as 4627 Leesville Road to allow for access to city water and sewer for the construction of a storage facility. The existing zoning is commercial general and commercial general with a textual development plan. No change to the existing zoning would occur with the proposed annexation. As this is a direct translational zoning, the existing Durham County zoning is translated to the identical Durham City zoning district upon the annexation of the property into the city limits. Since there is no request for a change to the existing zoning attached to this petition, there is not a development plan under consideration and therefore no proffered commitments. Any future development may proceed according to what the zoning would allow. The site is surrounded by residential rural and commercial general to the west, planned development residential to the north and east, and residential rural and industrial light to the south across Leesville Road. The aerial map shows the general location of the project along Leesville Road and US Highway 70. The property is currently designated highway commercial on the place type map. The proposed zoning was determined consistent with the designated place type. The applicant held neighborhood meetings on October 28th, 2025 and April 7th, 2026. One community member attended the first meeting and one community member attended the second meeting. There has been one comment against this proposal received on the Durham Rezoning Explorer. The proposal is consistent with the designated place type of highway commercial and consistent with 3 of 5 applicable comprehensive plan policies, though 2 policies are to be determined. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. May we have the applicant, please?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Planning Commission. Pam Porter with TMTLA Associates. We're a landscape architecture and land planning firm in Durham. And with me tonight is Warren Mitchell with Leesville Storage Partners, LLC, who is the property owner. Thank you, Javar, for the overview. Just to quickly recap, the property consists of 3 existing parcels and is approximately 25 acres in total. And the adopted place type map for this is highway commercial. 2 of the parcels are zoned CG with the development plan, and then the other parcel is zoned CG. And zoning for all 3 parcels will remain unchanged as part of this annexation request. We're only annexing, we're not zoning. So there are no conditions because they're already fully zoned properly for this. The only difference being in the city, and then all 3 parcels are in the FJB watershed overlay that will remain unchanged if approved. Annexation would facilitate the development of self-storage and connection to City of Durham water and sewer. And the proposed development is fully consistent with the current zoning as well as the previously approved development plan. And that's it for my notes. Thank you for your consideration, and both Warren and I are here if you have any questions.
If I may, Chair Chagaris, I just want to announce that Commissioner Chakowski has arrived and was here in time for the public hearing, so he may vote on this item.
Are there any members, community members? Has anybody signed up in person? Any community members here in person want to speak on this? Nope. Anybody on the Zoom? Please raise your hand using the *9 function. Nope. All right, the public hearing is now closed. We are open for commissioner discussion. Are there any questions? Commissioner Wouk?
Hey, I have a question for staff. In the staff report, I didn't see the community meeting or the rezone explorer notes.
That may have been an error on our part. There weren't really any comments, I don't believe, on the rezoning explorer, so you haven't missed anything, but we'll make sure they're in there in the future.
I have a question.
And Commissioner Neunkirchner?
Yes, has there, this is a storage building, right?
Yeah, it will be
Storage.
self-storage,
And what
correct.
is being stored there? Can you tell me what's being stored in this building?
Self-storage, just like
Self-storage?
self-storage.
Self-storage.
So if you were to rent one and store furniture or something similar, it'd be similar to
It's
that.
self-storage?
Yes, correct,
Okay, is
self-storage.
there any potential for environmental degradation due to waste product emanating from the project that would compromise the health and safety of the public?
There shouldn't be.
There
I mean,
shouldn't
it's
be, but you're at
self-storage. There's not going to be storage of hazardous waste. It's not
No
that type of
hazardous
storage.
waste.
It's not that type of storage facility.
Okay,
Self-storage,
so
yeah.
just self-storage, so just whatever people put in there. So the need for connecting to the water and sewer system
Correct.
is for fire? Is that if there was a fire there, to put out a fire? Is that
It's
correct?
for fire, it's for if there is an office with a bathroom, there needs to be a water and sewer connection.
For an office and a bathroom, correct?
Correct.
No other waste product would be going except for human waste in a bathroom. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, yes, yeah.
Okay, that's just my question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioner questions or comments? Nope. Okay, may I have a motion to move case Z 25-00033A, BDG 25-00021, Leesville Storage 2 forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, regarding case Z 25,033A and BDG 25,021.
Yeah.
I move that we forward this case to City Council and County Commissioners with favorable recommendation for approval.
It has been moved by Commissioner Ritchie and seconded by Commissioner Capers to move the case forward with a favorable recommendation. May we have electronic voting, please?
Is it not working? Clemens and Cameron.
Cameron's not here. You can just state for the record what your vote is. It's not coming in for some reason. You think you got it?
Can you just verbally say your vote?
Yes.
It'll be.
All right. The motion passes 9-0.
All right, next item on the agenda, item 6A, public hearings, zoning map changes, Courtyards at Leesville, Z 25-00038. May we have the staff report, please?
Good afternoon, Chair Chagaris and Planning Commissioners. My name is Peyton Burgess, and I am here tonight to present Z 25-00038, Courtyards at Leesville. The proposal requests to rezone 2 parcels of land totaling approximately 34.5 acres and currently zoned residential rural. The request would change the approximately 30-acre parcel to Planned Development Residential 3.739. The other parcel that is approximately 4.5 acres would be a direct translation of county residential rural to city residential rural. The request would allow for up to 111 dwelling units on the proposed PDR parcel and up to 6 units on the proposed residential rural parcel. Again, the existing zoning is residential rural. The map shows the larger parcel on the right proposed to be zoned PDR 3.739, with the smaller parcel on the left remaining residential rural. The site is surrounded by residential rural, PDR, and industrial light with a development plan across the street. The aerial map shows the general location of the project along Leesville Road, just off Highway 70, right by the site that you guys just saw. The property is designated mixed residential neighborhood on the place type map. The proposal was found to be consistent with the designated place type. For the PDR portion of the site, the applicant has proffered a variety of text commitments. These commitments do not apply to the 4.5-acre parcel proposed to remain residential rural. The PDR text commitments include up to 111 units to be single-family detached townhouses with a minimum of 20% of each housing type, at least one street with both housing types located on that street, 1 bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen on the first floor and on-grade entrances for all units, 20% open space with 20% of that open space to be adjacent to stream or wetland buffers, impervious surface limited to 50%, a publicly accessible EV charging station, native street trees, a $10,500 donation to Durham Public Schools, $100,000 donation to the Durham Dedicated Housing Fund, and a left turn lane on Leesville Road. The applicant held neighborhood meetings on November 24th, 2025, and April 15th, 2026. 9 community members attended the first, 6 attended the second. There have been 2 comments against this proposal received on the Durham Rezoning Explorer. The proposal is consistent with the designated place type of mixed residential neighborhood and with 20 of 25 applicable comprehensive plan policies, though it should be noted that 3 policies are to be determined. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. May we have the applicant, please?
Thank you, Ms. Burgess, for your presentation, and good evening, Chair Chagaris and members of the Planning Commission. I'm Neil Ghosh, an attorney at the Morningstar Law Group, 700 West Main Street. I'm representing Epcon Communities for this proposed annexation and rezoning. And I have Jack Royal with me tonight, who has been working on the land planning side for the project. But for now, I want to turn the mic over to Mr. Jeffrey Havner to tell you a little bit more about his company, Epcon.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Havner. I'm with Epcon Communities. Thank you for having us this evening. Epcon is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. We've had 12 years here in the Triangle, and we've built a number of communities here in Durham. We are actively building on Doc Nichols Road, and we recently completed a neighborhood on Farrington Road. For those of you that are not familiar with our product, our properties are primarily popular with the active adult community. Community in the home is designed specifically for this demographic. Our buyers are largely empty nesters looking to downsize or looking to be close to their grandchildren. Our internal data states that half of our buyers come from a 3-mile radius to our communities. So when they relocate into our neighborhoods, they vacate a home in the area for a new family to move into. Our unique features include landscape maintenance covered by the HOA and a community building with pool and pickleball for a gathering place for our homeowners. All of our homes are designed to age in place. Like most active adult builders, we have design features like primary living on the first floor, 0 entry garage, 0 entry front stoop. Unlike most active adult builders, we include an interior courtyard as our signature feature. In fact, it is even copyrighted. This is kind of a unique picture, but it shows the interior courtyard that provides intimate, private, outdoor space while bringing light from the outside to the inside. Clustering our homes in this way encourages interaction and community living. Our community design is based largely on T&D principles, with homes close together, front porches, and connectivity provided through the sidewalks. Unlike traditional builders, we line the rear facade up, which provides for an articulation on the front facades of the home, creating a visually appealing streetscape. Available for any more questions. I'm going to turn it over to Neil to go through the rezoning details. Thank you.
And thank you, Jeff. So I want to touch on the specifics of the project a bit. First of all, there are 2 parcels that are being proposed for annexation, but we only are requesting rezoning for one of those parcels. The other parcel is a neighbor who wanted to be annexed, so we obliged. Annexing that parcel actually prevents it from becoming a donut hole, as you can see on this slide right here. And I know the staff report indicates that our annexation request creates a donut hole. I'll just say I'm not sure if that's correct. I think we're actually making an existing jurisdictional gap smaller, which I believe is consistent with policy 165, or at least partially consistent. At any rate, we are contemplating zoning that parcel, the 30-acre parcel, in a way that would allow for 111 units on about 30 acres of land. We have put some robust zoning commitments together for this project, responsive to the comprehensive plan and to neighbor concerns. First of all, as Jeff mentioned, EPCON generally caters to a 55-plus demographic, although it's not an age-restricted community. But because of that, we have a commitment to have main floor living for every unit, including townhome-style units as well. We've increased our open space to 20%, and we've committed to placing about 20% of that open space adjacent to environmentally sensitive areas to better protect those areas or better preserve them. We have decreased our allowable impervious to 50%, and the amenities included by zoning commitment are pool, clubhouse, and pickleball court, in addition to the 10-foot wide multi-use walking trail across the frontage. We've committed to providing publicly accessible EV charging space and using native plants, and we have monetary contributions to both DPS and the dedicated housing fund. Our project also includes a mix of housing. We have one change to add here, which has already been discussed with staff. Right now, our zoning allows 2 housing types, townhomes and single-family detached homes, and we're required to build some amount of both of those. What we want to do is add a 3rd housing type, which under the UDO is called a detached row house. We still would be committing to providing at least 2 housing types in the community. A detached row house is perhaps a cross between a townhome and a single-family home. It's kind of like a detached townhome, if that makes sense. We also have one additional commitment, which I have not told staff, but I'm sure will be okay, which is that we are adding commitment to handle the 100-year storm. We know this is something that's been asked for on several projects in this area, and now that we've had some time to look into it, we felt that we could make this commitment without compromising our other commitments as far as like impervious limitations, open space, that type of thing. So we want to go ahead and make that commitment now. Our request before you tonight is really about the PDR rezoning request. We do not really have anything to do with the other parcel that's being annexed. That's our neighbor. They want to be annexed, and we're doing that. So with respect to our PDR request, we believe it is consistent with the place type map. Around us, there are plans for many more townhomes, some apartments, and even some industrial warehouses on the south side of Leesville with the Durham Gateway project. And there also are a few more single-family homes going up in this area in addition to those that already exist. So our request will actually continue the mixed residential neighborhood trend in this area, potentially by even adding a new housing type altogether, the detached row home. The comprehensive plan calls for and contemplates exactly that kind of growth in this exact location. So that is what our plan has been drawn up to do. I also will just note that we have had, including our direct neighbors on the east, have reached out and are, I would say supportive of the project primarily because this is an area that has obviously seen a lot of development, but some of these parcels are kind of locked out of that potential because they don't have access to water and sewer utilities, and this project would bring those utilities closer to those properties. And so we have had several property owners in this area express interest in this project because it will extend utilities. With that, I want to just say we look forward to having your discussion, and our team is available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any community members in person that have signed up to speak on this? Nope. Okay, anybody on the Zoom? Please raise your hand using the *9 function. Pam Williams? Pam Andrews? Who's first?
Good evening. This is Pam Andrews. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Last Wednesday, May the 6th, for the first time, the newly appointed EMS Chief Kamatsky spoke at the JCCPC about putting together an analysis for these annexation cases like the fire department and police department do. Per policy 119 in the comprehensive plan, we are to ensure new developments within the urban growth boundary are within the established level of service for emergency services, including EMS. This has not been done until a recent request made Commissioner Jacobs bring this to our attention, which led to the discussion at JCCPC last week. The new chief said it was challenging related to capacity. We are a decade in the rear related to units available for EMS. There is no footprint on the east side for an EMS station. We know there's an ambulance at Station 17, but that does not operate after 7 o'clock, we are informed. There is a desperate need for a station on the east side. The parcel that led to this discussion is up for annexation Monday night. The chief also stated the two closest stations would take 14 minutes plus for a fire station to get to the one on Monday night. Response times are based on the number of units available, not just how far away it is, because EMS covers the whole county and city. But it's solely funded by the county. This information could be part of the annexation documents starting in August, possibly. One ambulance is about $500,000. It takes about 3 years to get one, to receive one once you place the order. Personnel increased last year, but not the number of units. The call volume has increased about 8% in the last year. City fire trucks, there's 41. Ambulances, there's 19. Ambulance service countywide with far less resources than fire. It was also in the CBS 17 report today about hospitals. According to the study, Duke University Hospital in Durham has the longest average ER wait time at 7 hours and 34 minutes. Our infrastructure is just not holding up. I ask you to please delay this. Thank you.
Thank you. Pam Williams?
Good afternoon. My name's Pam Williams. I want to thank the developer for during the 100 years flood for erosion control. I just want to make sure it's for pre and post construction. It wasn't said if the 100-year storm was for both. The additional thing I would like to ask is that since the stream only extends into the property, halfway into the property from the west side, we request that there's no stream or utility crossings across the creek. An additional, we have Leesville Road, Fennel Farms, Dale Webb, Everett. They all have a good landscaping of about 25 to 30 feet of thick landscaping. We're asking that that be used here at this location also. A third thing is this property is over 27% with slopes greater than 10%. And historically in this area, there's blasting will be required. We request that the amount of dynamite be less than the normal. I'm about 2,700 feet from the property of Courtyard at Oak Grove and felt every blast, and I'm about 2,500 feet from this parcel. So I'm wondering if they could maybe not use the same amount of blasting. This is just a note on the general developments. This property, as many other properties have been approved, do not meet a 10-minute walk to anything, especially a park. There's over 13,000 acres between NC 98 and east of US 70, and there are no public parks. There are no continuous sidewalks on Leesville Road, nor any greenway trails that people can use. This is another example of car-centric development. There's no benefits provided to the community, and I asked that the roadway lands already asked that. So I just wanted to give my concerns about the parks. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on the Zoom wishing to speak on this item? Please raise your hand using the *9 function. Nope, not seeing anybody. Would the applicant like to answer some of those concerns?
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the comments we heard were evidently related to a project that's going to be heard by City Council on Monday night. With respect to EMS and fire services, I believe the city's newest fire station 17, I think is the newest one. It's on Leesville Road, not very far from the site, and it's a joint fire and EMS facility. So this site is very adequately covered by both fire and EMS. Just want to state that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the public hearing is now closed. We are open for commissioner discussion. Commissioner Wouk.
Hey, I have a question of clarification. So Neil, in your presentation, you mentioned there would be native plantings. On the staff report, it said native street trees. Are we committing to all native plantings?
Oh, well, I didn't intend to change what's there, but if that is your question, I think we can ask EPCON if that's something that they would be willing to do. I think our commitment might currently say that we would, all street trees would be native. I think the request here is to have native plantings for UDO required plantings. And I don't know, I mean, it's not something that we've looked into, but I think we can look into that.
Okay, and then I just wanted to follow up on the 100-year storm commitment. Is it pre and post?
Yeah, I mean, the standard language for that commitment is that we would, it would require us to measure the pre-construction runoff rate and design the site so that the post-construction runoff rate doesn't exceed the 100-year storm. So yes,
Okay.
that is absolutely the intent. Again, I didn't run it by staff, but yeah, okay.
And then about the stream crossings, are you committing to no stream crossings?
Oh, let me, I'm looking at Jack. I don't recall. We don't have any stream crossings for utilities? I think that was the other. So I'm getting an indication that no, we don't have any stream crossings. I'm going to just ask, are we ready to make that a commitment, which is fine. Okay, we'll make that commitment.
Awesome. And my last one, sorry, is asking about tree coverage beyond the requirement in the UDO.
Yeah, so we've looked at that, and I just, this is something that I tasked Jack, and his group to look into. What we're doing here is targeting 20% tree preservation. Whether we can get additional tree coverage is a different question. The answer might be yes, but I want to be real clear that in that case, what we would be doing there is new plantings. It's something that they're trying to figure out to see if that's what we can do, but I can say that the commitment now is not simply 20% tree coverage. It's 20% tree coverage through preservation.
I've got a question.
Okay, Commissioner Capers.
Thank you. I'm interested, can you speak to why there are no affordable units? Is that, I mean, and I'm assuming while it's not boxed in, this piece of land property is not boxed in for solely folks 55 and older. Is that part of the reason?
Actually, the main reason is, so EPCON has been active in Durham for a while. If you've not been out to an EPCON community, I would encourage you to go look. It's kind of a different community and it caters to this. demographic. As a result, the HOA handles a lot more than a regular HOA. So the issue typically in this neighborhood from an affordability standpoint is not necessarily just the cost of the house. It is the increased HOA fees, because they are higher than a typical neighborhood, but that is what people are buying in this neighborhood. It's the security and the maintenance, like landscaping. They don't just do the front entrance. They do all the yards. No one has a mower. They do all the yards. They do all of that. And then they have regular programming through their HOA for the community. So that's really what makes it difficult for them to be able to get affordable units in here, is that if someone were to get into one of these homes, they would probably have a lot of the money that they would end up paying on a monthly basis goes to HOA, which is not really what someone who is cost burdened on.
Sure.
No, that's not where they want their money to be going, right?
Sure.
And that's the problem.
Do you have a projection on what the average cost would be for HOA fees?
I don't know if, do we have an average HOA, like, about $700 a month? Yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty significant.
Okay, so that provides a little bit more clarity. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question.
Commissioner Ritchie?
Just following up on that, I think that the, donation to the Affordable Housing Fund makes a lot of sense. Can you walk me through the 100,000 number? We sort of see 8% in a lot of cases right now. That would be 9 units here. Is there a specific calculation that you got to 100?
Well, so the $100,000 is, we're always looking at ways to sharpen the pencil and see how that number moves, but also EPCON is trying to figure out other ways to contribute to housing affordability. Right now, I think the only kind of commitments we see in rezonings are either to provide units or to provide money to the dedicated housing fund. Ideally, and we haven't come up with anything yet, right? But ideally, there would be other ways to provide towards affordability. I suspect that, as we work through this, perhaps we will find some other commitment to make. I wouldn't say that there is a specific equation that was used to reach the $100,000 number here, but that is something that they felt they could afford on the site. And I think maybe your question is whether it could increase, and I think that's what we're always looking at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we're looking for increase. I think that also as a model moving forward, it's not a bad model, but being able to compare it against other cases would be helpful for us. Not germane to EPCON, so I don't want that to be their burden, but having a clear idea of how we're getting to these numbers when they're donations
Sure.
would be helpful to compare across cases.
That makes sense.
Any other commissioner? Commissioner Montez?
Yeah, appreciate the affordable housing proffer, and like Richie and others I'm very much looking to help or get developers to get more creative with affordable housing. 80% AMI to me is hurtful, if anything, and so I appreciate the donation. What I would advise is to see if we could add language to that commitment, which would entail if it could go to the dedicated housing fund or to the down payment assistance program. That way, in the future, if the down payment assistance program does pick up and is helped to distribute some of those funds, that we could help. Now, it could be set up as an option. Whether you guys choose whether it goes to the dedicated housing fund or to down payment assistance. Down payment assistance for me is by far more impactful.
If I could just speak to that, my last conversation with Sarah Vinas, head of the Housing and Neighborhood Services Department, was that essentially the down payment assistance program is a subsection of the dedicated housing fund, and so a donation to the dedicated housing fund is actually more. That's what I'm looking for. More. It allows them to use the funds where needed, whether it be for down payment assistance or other needs.
Sure. Okay. So, sorry, Aaron, can I just follow up with a question for you? I'm sorry.
I think you now know how much I know about that.
I've seen commitments, though, that give the option. So, maybe it's evolved since then. And my question to staff in response to that would be if we do just simply give it to the dedicated housing fund, how is the dedicated housing fund, do we have any idea how they're distributing those funds?
I don't. I would need to direct you to the Housing and Neighborhood Services Department about
Yeah,
that.
okay.
They're the ones
I
that
can-
handle
I
that.
can
But
ask Sarah.
that's my recollection of the conversation with Sarah Venus
Yeah.
about that on a previous case was it can be made to down payment assistance program, but the down payment assistance program is a subset of the Durham Dedicated
Yeah,
Housing Fund.
Yep. Well, I guess it doesn't change anything now. Appreciate it, though.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner questions? Commissioner
have a que-
Neunkirchner?
I have a question. This is virgin land, right? It's not developed, it's undeveloped property, so that 34 acres will seriously impact the existing environment in that particular area. So also the impervious surface increase from 20 to, 50, is lower than the 70% allowable. So it's going to seriously impact the groundwater recharge and runoff when you take away that surface. I'm just concerned about the impact that it will have on the community, on the rural community around it.
Okay.
I know that you don't really have complete knowledge or, hard to predict what that impact will be, but it is a concern. And also because the utility department is still in progress. I mean, the utility department is still considering all of this. It's not done yet. So, I mean, the full impact of water and sewer capacity is not yet finalized. So it's hard to say how many units it will support because there's no commitment, there's no plan to develop that. And there's the donut hole and all that other stuff. I mean, and the lack of public benefit and availability because it's private. There's no public park. There's no walking. I mean, the sidewalks are not walkable. I mean, it's not a walkable area either. But will you commit to increasing the walkability?
Yeah, so we do have a commitment to have the 10-foot wide walking trail across our frontage. And I think I might be misunderstanding what you're saying, but we've actually made a commitment that our max impervious is 50% as opposed to 70%. 70% is allowed under the current zoning right now, 70% impervious. Regardless of the number of units, that's what's allowed right now. So we're actually decreasing that. I also just want to make clear that 34 acres is being proposed for annexation, but as I understand, the Planning Commission is tasked with considering the impacts of rezoning. We're only rezoning 30 acres of this. The 4 acres is not part of this project at all. It's just our neighbor's property, and they want it to be part of the annexation. So on 30 acres, we've reduced the impervious to 50% from 70%, which is allowed currently. So, I mean, that's like 15 acres of impervious that would be allowed in theory. And then, with respect to the utility impacts, it's correct that the utility extension application is still being under review or is still in review with the SUDS. However, this is an area that it's in the Southeast Regional Lift Station Basin. That is a new facility. It is far, far from capacity. It has, in fact, lots of excess capacity, and right now it's really only planned to serve the area, generally speaking, west of the lift station, although it is sized to serve the whole basin, including all the area east of the lift station. So we don't have any concern that there isn't utility capacity in this area. I think that was part of your question, but some of it might have also been like how the utilities get there. We know that, actually, if this slide is up, I don't know if you can see it or not. We know that this property here is already been approved for development. Their plans show, I believe, the sewer line coming in this location. So that's where the sewer would be extended from through this property. And I believe there's already a water line in Leesville Road. So that would we would tap directly into that water line. So there's not like all this cross-country extension happening in order to serve this property because the utilities are actually already there. I think that I tried to be responsive to lots of things you said. I hope that captured it. But thank you.
Any other commissioner questions or comments? No. I believe there was a late arrival. Sir, did you have any comments? The chair will be reopening the public hearing. Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Alejandro Ruiz. I'm the owner of 5106 Leesville Road and 5104 Leesville Road and on Leesville Road. One of the questions that I have is, with a lot of housing being opening right now, in the past probably year, what is Leesville Road and Highway 70, there has been way more accidents now because the road, the infrastructure, is not built to, to have a lot of traffic. And apparently, you got to add up another maybe 300 to 600 trips. So it has become a little more dangerous over there to drive in that area because the accidents. And the other thing is, there's some land around there that some of us, we have animals like goats, chickens, kind of like a farm land. And also alpacas and things like that. And I would like to know that, it doesn't affect because, I love Durham, but I don't like the city because there's a lot of crime and all that. And a lot of us, we decided to move out in the county. So there's going to be less crime. But now, so far, the area is kind of good and all that. But later on, there's going to be another development next behind my house and some of my neighbors. And, we have a big crime rate in the city that now is gonna probably move into outside because now it's gonna become kind of like part of the city of Durham. We cannot stop crime, but we can control it. So what can the city and the county do to control the crime, and the developers, what they can do, what can they do to kind of make sure, there's not a lot of impacts when people, having accidents because some of them have been kind of like major accidents. And going back to, affordable housing, I heard a lot that people talk about building affordable housing. Affordable housing. I'm somebody that came from another country and, I work 7 days a week and all that. I used to sleep in my car for like 3 years. And now I own my own house, another property, a property on the lake and all that. And if you work hard, you don't have to think about affordable housing. You have to think about the things that myself, I can afford so I can live in. And I think one of the things that we can do is kind of have some education for some of the people on, how to manage their money and all that. And I do thank you for listening to me. Thank you, sir.
The chair is now reclosing the public hearing. Any more commissioner comments? No? I have a question for the applicant. I know you mentioned the location of the fire station being close. This being a 55-plus community, and with the statistic that the county is 10 years behind in the EMS. Just because there's a fire station there doesn't mean there's an ambulance there. The lead time on an ambulance is 36 months. If they budgeted it for this year, it would be 3 years before they got an ambulance, perhaps, to be in that fire station. So and this being a 55-plus age-targeted community, my question is, what is the timeline, do you think, for this development? If it gets rezoned, and will it be 3 years before there's actual people there to match with the catching up of the ambulances?
So let me just first respond by saying, I don't know if, again, I don't know if this slide is up or not. This is the location of the fire station right here. It's on this slide. It's this blue parcel right here. That's the location of the fire station. That's a joint fire EMS facility. I'm not going to pretend to know what's in that facility, so I don't know if there's an EMS, but there should be. It was paid for by both the county for EMS and the city for fire. So I don't know what's there. I'm not going to pretend to know, but I suspect it already has EMS coverage. But as far as your question was more so, how long does it take to get this thing built and have people live in there? I think the best answer to that question is, so obviously we're still in the rezoning phase. If this were to get approved, actually you guys are currently building on Doc Nichols, which is like right there actually, almost on this map, I think, which was zoned, I believe, in 2018, I think. You wouldn't know, would you? I should know, I did the zoning on it, but I believe it was 2018, 2019 when that was zoned. So it's like 5 years. I mean, there were people in there before 5 years, but yeah, so I think it's probably safe to assume that in 3 years, you might have the first people living there.
Okay, thank you. Questions anymore? Nope, everybody's good. I have a motion to move case Z25-00038 Courtyards at Leesville forward with a favorable recommendation.
Chair, regarding Z25-00038, I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation for approval.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Ritchie and seconded by Commissioner Capers to move this case forward with a favorable recommendation. Please open the electronic voting.
Motion passes 6-3.
The next item on the agenda, 6B, Andrews Chapel Road Townhouses, Z25-00032. May we have the staff report, please?
Before we start the begin the staff report, I'd like to announce that Commissioner McIver has arrived, so he will be able to count for quorum and vote on the upcoming items, as well as, I believe, Commissioner Clemens, you're going to ask for a motion? Well, why don't you ask for a motion for
I'd like to ask for a motion for an excused absence.
If granted, we will still have quorum. There will be 8 sitting on the commission.
Second? Do we second that motion?
It has been moved by Commissioner Clemens and seconded by Commissioner Ritchie that Commissioner Clemens be allowed an excused absence. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Okay, Andrews Chapel Road Townhouses, staff report.
Thank you. Chair Chagaris and honorable commissioners, my name is Andy Lester with the Planning and Development Department. It's good to be with all of you tonight. And before I begin, staff would like to state for the record that all Planning Department hearing items have been advertised and noticed in accordance with state and local law, and affidavits of all notices are on file with the Planning Department. This proposal is of one parcel of land located at 323 Andrews Chapel Road, approximately 4.5 acres. Its current zoning is residential rural. The applicant proposes to change this designation to Plan Development 6.085 to allow up to 28 townhouses. As stated previously, the existing zoning is residential rural. The proposed zoning is Plan Development 6.085. The site is immediately surrounded by residential rural and PDR to the south. Now, the aerial map shows the general location of the project. The site is situated southeast of Andrews Chapel Road. It is immediately surrounded by single family to the south, agricultural uses to the east, and a school to the north. The property is currently designated mixed residential neighborhood on the place type map and was found consistent with that place type. On the screen are a number of textual commitments the proposal makes. A few include a permanent prohibition of connection to Andrews Chapel Road, a 10-foot shared path along Andrews Chapel Road, contributions to DPS and the Dedicated Housing Fund, native species for required tree plantings, no mass grading, additional tree coverage, impervious surface limits, and inclusion of first floor bedroom and full bathroom for 10 units. Neighborhood meetings were held in accordance with the neighborhood meeting guidelines on October 21st, 2025, and April 28th, 2026. 4 comments have been received by staff in relation to the case on the Durham Rezoning Explorer. All are against the proposal. As stated previously, the proposal is consistent with the place type map designation of mixed residential neighborhood, as it introduces a new housing type immediately adjacent to single-family residential and non-residential uses. The proposal is consistent with 20 of 22 applicable comprehensive plan policies, and staff, the applicant, are available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. May we have the applicant, please?
Good evening. My name is Courtney McQueen. I'm a landscape architect with CUNY, representing the applicant this evening. Our address is 16 Consultant Place, Durham. Also with me this evening is Tim Sivers, the president of CUNY, and we are both available for questions throughout the evening. The site is located at 323 Andrews Chapel Road. It is a 4.59 acre parcel, currently containing a single-family home and a small farm pond. Existing access easement runs along the western property line and allows driveway connections from the adjacent properties to the west to Andrews Chapel Road. Tonight, we are requesting a text rezoning and annexation into the city of Durham for the development of 28 townhomes, which aligns with the comprehensive plan, incorporates community feedback and needs, and provides community investments while supporting the missing middle housing. The site is currently zoned RR Rural Residential, shown in yellow on the map. The property adjacent to the RR zoning to the west, while the property to the north is zoned the same, the use is civic, specifically the Montessori school. The eastern and southern properties are zoned PDR, Planned Development Residential. Tonight, we are proposing a rezoning to Planned Development Residential at a density of 6.085 units per acre. This creates a natural extension to the surrounding neighborhood and is consistent with the nearby residential densities, which range from approximately 3.2 to 8 units per acre. The future place type map identifies the site as MRN, mixed residential neighborhood. The MRN place type encourages diverse housing choices within connected, walkable neighborhoods. This proposal supports the intent of the MRN place type map by introducing integrated townhouse housing within the existing single-family area while supporting neighborhood connectivity with additional environmental commitments. This proposal, according to staff, what I originally had was 21 of 23 applicable, but according to staff tonight, the proposal is consistent with 20 of 22 applicable comprehensive plan policies, including neighborhood housing, transportation, environmental, and public space. The following 4 slides highlights how the proposed commitment supports an overall policy consistency of 91%. The goal of the neighborhood and housing policy is to encourage more connected and walkable neighborhoods, expand housing choices with a variety of residents, and supports thoughtful growth that remains compatible with the surrounding neighborhood and existing infrastructure. Policy 33 discourages development patterns made up of only one housing type, The goal is to create a more connected, integrated neighborhood with a variety of housing choices. This proposed development supports that goal by introducing townhomes within an existing predominantly single-family area, rather than concentrating townhome development in isolated locations elsewhere in the community. The site directly connects to Andrews Chapel Highland subdivision through the future Shady Top Lane roadway extension, creating a natural continuation of the existing neighborhood pattern. On the screen is a 1-mile study of the area showing the surrounding development pattern. Yellow represents single-family neighborhood, townhomes shown in magenta, and green represents apartment communities. The proposed townhomes are centered within the existing single-family neighborhood pattern rather than separated out to the edges of the community like the others. This helps support the comprehensive plan's goals of creating more balanced and connected housing choices throughout neighborhoods. The proposal also includes a commitment for at least 10 homes to contain first-floor bedrooms and full bathrooms, supporting aging in place, multi-generational living, and residents with varying mobile needs. Concerning the policies that were not met, while the proposal does not include affordable housing units, a contribution to the Durham Affordable Housing Fund is being provided. In addition, while there is no existing public parkland within 10-minute mile walk, the development will provide on-site recreational open space as required by the UDO. The transportation policies focus on creating a safer, more connected, and more accessible community through walkable neighborhood design in coordination with existing infrastructure. The proposal supports this goal through pedestrian-oriented design, including sidewalks, pedestrian connections, and a shared use path consistent with the mixed residential neighborhood vision. Commitments include pedestrian connections to Andrews Chapel Road and Shady Top Lane, along with a 10-foot shared use path along Andrews Chapel Road frontage connecting to the existing sidewalk network. These improvements strengthen neighborhood connectivity between surrounding homes, streets, and future destinations. The proposal also includes a single vehicular connection from Shady Top Lane extension. This approach helps limit cut-through traffic from Andrews Chapel Road and keeps Meadow Pond Drive and Shady Top Lane functioning primarily for local neighborhood traffic. The environmental and public space policy focuses on protecting environmental resources, preserving trees and open space, and reduces environmental impacts from development. This proposal includes the required landscape buffer along Andrews Chapel Road. While the ordinance does not require tree preservation on the site and there are limited existing trees to preserve, the proposal still includes a commitment to provide 2% native tree coverage across the site. Existing Farm Pond has a limited drainage area. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and NCDEQ have confirmed that the pond is non-jurisdictional and they're not subject to any buffers. The property owner is currently pursuing the process to drain the pond independent of this rezoning application. Though the site is not located in a watershed protection overlay and there is no impervious surface maximums that are required by ordinance, the proposal voluntarily limits the impervious surface coverage to 60% of the site. Additional commitments include prohibiting mass grading and limiting land disturbance to 4 acres. 2 neighborhood meetings were held, and tonight we would like to discuss the concerns that were shared and the additional commitments added since this original submittal. Residents expressed concerns relating to traffic along Andrews Chapel Road, requests for direct vehicular access to Andrews Chapel Road, privacy for adjacent homes, and compatibility with existing neighborhood character. Because Andrews Chapel Road is state-maintained, NCDOT was contacted following our last neighborhood meeting to discuss possible vehicular connections. NCDOT stated that limiting additional roadway connections along Andrews Chapel Road created a safer transportation network by reducing vehicular conflict points and minimizing pedestrian cross risk. That correspondence has been provided to planning staff. In response to neighborhood feedback, additional commitments have been added, including a temporary construction entrance from Andrews Chapel Road to hinder construction traffic through Meadow Pond Drive and Shady Top Lane. The proposal has also increased native tree replacement plantings from 2% to 3% of the site to provide additional buffering along the western access easement, as well as the southern property boundary. Tonight, a conceptual plan has been provided for illustrative purposes only to help visualize the text commitments associated with this request. The illustrations reflect the increased tree planting commitments and enhanced screening locations to the south and east. In addition to the site commitment, a proposal also includes a one-time community contribution of $5,000 to Durham Public Schools and $28,000 to Durham's Affordable Housing Fund. Overall, this proposal represents the type of thoughtful, small-scale infill development envisioned by the comprehensive plan. It expands housing choices within an existing residential area, supports neighborhood connectivity, and incorporates environmental commitments beyond the minimum standards, and provides compatible growth within the urban growth boundary. Thank you for your time this evening, and Tim and I are available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any community members in person signed up to speak on this? Nope. Anybody on the Zoom? Please raise your hand by pressing *9. Going once. Oh, Susan Kinzer.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Susan Kinzer, 207 Andrews Chapel Road. I would be on the east side, according to the picture there, of the property that they're talking about. Our driveway that comes off of Andrews Chapel Road goes down through there. It goes through 3 residents, 211, 207, and also down to 209. I know it shows some trees being planted, but in their last meeting, there's a small creek that runs underneath that driveway to that pond. And no one has addressed that creek of where that water is going to go if you destroy that pond. And I would like maybe if someone has an answer to that.
Thank you. Anyone else on the Zoom wishing to speak on this agenda item, please raise your hand, *9. Going once, going twice, gone. Would the applicant care to address the concerns about that creek and the pond being drained? Where would I saw on the one drawing, the pond's going to be relocated?
Tim Sivers with Cunity, 16 Consultant Place. Ms. Kinzer, I believe her name was pronounced. Yes, so the intent is for the existing pond to be relocated, not technically relocated, I guess, to be removed. It is in the process of being permitted to be drained. That is, as Courtney mentioned, is separate from this zoning application. It is non-jurisdictional, so there's no buffers associated with it. There is not, because it's non-jurisdictional, which is what DEQ verification, there's no stream running to it. There is a ditch, which was mentioned by Ms. Kinzer, I think. It's not a stream, it's not a verified stream, but it is a ditch. Along in this image that I believe may still be on your screen, along this eastern portion here, there is a 18-foot easement. It is a recorded easement on a plat. That easement will remain in place. That easement provides access for that existing driveway that accesses those. You can actually even see part of it right here, where this driveway connects and runs up here. This driveway does the same up that 18-foot easement. That 18-foot easement will not be adjusted. Hence why our screening will be on our side of that 18-foot easement. So their driveways will have no impact. Everything will remain in place for them. As for the pond itself, as I mentioned earlier, the image here shows our location of the stormwater control measure. It is an existing farm pond, so I'm not really sure on the quality of the dam when it was constructed. Most likely was a farmer out there with a tractor digging it and piling it up, right? Not compacting it properly. Therefore, we wouldn't want to build houses downstream of it. We're unsure of what the quality of that dam is. So it is in the process of being removed. The stormwater control measure will follow the city requirements for construction. So it's not, at that point, would not be a farm pond. It would be a true stormwater control measure. I believe that answers her question, and I believe the one that you had as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The public hearing is now closed. We're open for commissioner questions and comments. Commissioner Wouk.
Thank you. I have a question. So there's some specimen trees on that site. Are there plans to keep those, protect those?
During the site plan review process, we will identify they're right along the property line. So once we get into that and actually complete the tree survey, we will identify if it is able to keep them. Courtney and I are both landscape architects. If we can, we will, but that is something we have to look at when they truly are surveyed during the site plan.
Okay, my next question is, you're committing to native trees. Can we do all native plantings?
It's a little difficult to do that, and I know the previous project did that. The only reason for that and why I typically only commit to native trees is because of the availability in the nurseries. The native shrubs aren't typically as available, so I would hate to have to say to you, yeah, I'd love to do that, and I would. We will as much as we can, but if the plants aren't available, which right now they're not locally, I don't feel like I can commit to that tonight simply for that reason. But if we can, when we get to site plan, if those are available, we will do more. But as a commitment, I would like to stick to the trees only.
Commissioner Ritchie.
I'm going to ask the same question I asked to Nil, which is basically just how do we get to the 28 number? Is that 1,000 per townhouse or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, simply 1,000 per unit. Yeah, we looked at previous projects, and I looked at Nils earlier, seeing we were close if you do the math, right? So yes, and same answer for the student donation. Me personally, I always put in a $5,000 minimum. In here, we were only 2 students. So obviously, typically those are $500 per unit or per student increase. I'm not going to lower it by, to do 1,000. We are committing to that. So in this case, it's more of a 5,000 minimum. And then the affordable is $1,000 per unit. And, we're always, as the previous Neil mentioned earlier, we're also looking for new ways to do it. I'm glad to hear that there's other ways, other funds that are sub of the Affordable Housing Fund that potentially can have that. I look forward to new and inventive ways that we can make sure we're providing what we need for our citizens.
And just give me the logic for, with a development of this size, I can understand, but can you give me the logic for not having a percentage and going the fund route in this case?
Sure, it's pretty simple. Small projects, it doesn't pencil. It is very hard even for provide that one unit. So in this case, we believe it's better to help provide units somewhere else to make sure that can be provided. But it's simple, 28 units. Typically, most projects, you need around that 100 unit range. Maybe even more than that now with expenses increasing, to have one unit pencil. So that's the main reason here is to make sure that we can actually build this project.
Got it. Sounds like we should have tried to push NIL up to 111, but yeah, thanks.
Any other commissioner questions or comments? No, I have the same question based on the lack of EMS and specifically the lack of ambulances and the lead time. And I don't even know if this is addressable. Is there a way to make a commitment that the certificates of occupancy won't be issued for 36 months, 3 years to allow for, even though this is a smaller project with less people, there's still a lot of people in that area, $500,000 in ambulance. The county is looking at a huge responsibility playing catch up here.
Yes, I understand the request, and I came back to this slide to kind of show the existing neighborhoods in the area that we are directly in the middle. I cannot commit to that this evening. I think that would put a little bit of hold on this project, knowing it is only 28 units. I understand the concern, and I, want to make sure that our current and future residents are covered. But looking at this map, you can see that our project would actually be a shorter distance from the current Station 17 than current residents that are out there. So with that fact, I do feel like we would be covered. But no, I would not be able to make that commitment this evening.
Okay, thank you. All right, no more commissioner questions, comments? All right, may I have a motion to move case Z25-00032 Andrews Chapel Road Townhouses forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, regarding case Z25-00032, I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation for approval.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Ritchie and seconded by Commissioner Capers to move this case forward with a favorable recommendation. May we have the electronic voting, please?
The motion passes 6-2.
I would like to just state for the record that the motion actually will pass 7-2 because Commissioner Chakowski did not ask for an excused absence before he left, so he will be a yes vote on all future items this evening.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 6C and 7A together. Parmer Edge 2 and Parmer Edge Light Industrial Park tier change. May we have the staff report, please?
Good afternoon, Chair Chagaris and Planning Commissioners. My name is Peyton Burgess, and I am here tonight to present cases Z26-00002 Parmer Edge 2 and A26-00001 Parmer Edge Light Industrial Park. Although these are two separate cases that will require two separate motions, they do have some overlap, so I'm going to present them together. I'm also going to be setting the record for the amount of times a planner says 0 in 3 minutes. Case Z26-00002 is a rezoning request for 7 parcels of land totaling 57.17 acres from residential rural and industrial light to industrial light with a development plan. Case A26-00001 is a request to amend the development tier designation of 10 parcels and a portion of 3 additional parcels totaling 141.44 acres. This request would change the development tier designation from urban to suburban. The requests have 4 parcels that overlap, and pending both requests, the entirety of the site would be in the suburban development tier and zone industrial light and industrial light with a textual development plan. The rezoning request does not include the entirety of all parcels because the remaining parcels already have industrial light zoning. This is the zoning context map for the Z26-00002 rezoning application. You can see that the existing zoning for these parcels is residential, rural, and industrial light. Although the industrial light parcels included in this application already have the desired zoning, they were added to this application because the UDO requires rezonings to be contiguous, and they create a contiguous petition. The proposal would rezone this area to be industrial light with a textual development plan, and the development plan would only apply to the parcels identified in this map. This is the zoning context map for A26-00001, the development tier amendment case. As you can see, this request follows the current industrial light zoning district. The portion of the rezoning request that is currently zoned industrial light is also included in this development tier amendment request. The aerial map shows the location of both projects. The rezoning request is outlined in red. The tier boundary amendment is outlined in blue. You can see on this map the overlap between the 2 requests. This is the place type map associated with the rezoning. These parcels are currently designated as mixed-use neighborhood. The proposed rezoning is generally inconsistent with this place type, so staff recommends a change to the place type map to designate these parcels as general industrial. This is the place type map associated with the A26-00001 tier boundary amendment request. The site is currently designated general industrial and mixed-use neighborhood. If the rezoning is approved, the overlapping parcels to the south will become general industrial as well. This is the tier boundary map. The blue represents the urban tier and the brown represents the suburban tier. If the A26-00001 tier boundary amendment case is approved, the entirety of the area will be located in the suburban tier. This matches the existing development tier designation of the parcels currently zoned residential rural included in the rezoning request. The applicant has proffered a restriction of uses. This restriction would only apply to the parcels associated with the Z26-00002 rezoning request. The development plan would prohibit the uses listed. The applicant held neighborhood meetings on March 12th, April 9th, and April 27th, 2026. 2 community members attended the first, 4 attended the second, and 3 attended the third. There are no comments regarding either of these proposals on the Durham Rezoning Explorer. The rezoning proposal is consistent with 8 of 13 applicable comprehensive plan policies, but is not consistent with the designated place type of mixed residential neighborhood. So if approved, staff recommends a change to the general industrial place type. In summary, the Z26-00002 rezoning proposal would rezone 7 parcels from residential rural and industrial light to industrial light with a development plan and change the place type map from mixed-use neighborhood to general industrial. The A26-00001 development tier amendment proposal would change the development tier of 10 parcels and a portion of 3 additional parcels from the urban tier to the suburban tier to make the entirety of both sites in the suburban tier. These cases are separate and will require separate votes, although they do have 4 parcels that are part of both applications. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing when we have the applicant.
Okay. Good evening, Chair Chagaris, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Patrick Biker. I live at 2614 Stewart Drive. Can you all see the PowerPoint that's up on your screens? Great. I'm an attorney with Morningstar Law Group, and I'm here tonight representing Parmer Edge for this rezoning and comprehensive plan amendment that we're discussing tonight. First of all, I do want to thank Peyton and Aaron for outstanding work on the staff report. This project we are discussing tonight is called Parmer Edge Two because the City Council approved the annexation and the water and sewer for approximately 185 acres in the Parmer Edge assemblage back on October 7 of 2024. Since that was a straightforward annexation back then, we could not alter any of the zoning or development tiers within Parmer Edge. And we need to do that tonight because the UDO, suburban, and urban tiers dictate widely different building standards. If we were close to adopting the new LDC, we would not need to change that tier boundary because the new LDC gets rid of all the development tiers. But be that as it may, it is important to note that Parmer Edge already has a proven track record in the Durham County section of Research Triangle Park. Mr. Scott Levitan, the CEO of RTP, recognized the importance of what Carlin has achieved in RTP. I remember very well 25 or 30 years ago when Glaxo was a major player in RTP, but those days are gone. And fortunately, Carlin Real Estate, the Parmer Edge parent company, stepped in to revitalize what was Durham County's #1 taxpayer back in the mid-1990s. Now that Glaxo campus houses multiple companies, and you can see what these business leaders, how they have praised Carlin's work to transform the old Glaxo campus into a multi-tenant facility with great amenities that has strengthened Durham's economy. Now, in regard to this rezoning, here's an aerial showing 140-plus acres that's been zoned IL for several decades. That's in the light purple, along with about 50 acres that's zoned RR just north of Glover Road. And that's at the bottom of this slide in yellow. In order to look at the entirety of the Parmer Edge assemblage, that is in red on the left-hand side of this slide. And again, the 50-plus acres we're looking at tonight to be rezoned is on the right-hand side of this slide. The bottom line is that Parmer Edge needs consistent zoning between the railroad tracks to the east and the Durham Freeway to the west. Again, because it was a straight annexation back in 2024, we could not make that zoning map change at that time. But we do want to emphasize that Parmer Edge has removed 26 of the permitted uses in the industrial light zoning district to continue the outstanding track record in RTP that I mentioned earlier, along with a comment from Research Triangle Park CEO Scott Levitan. That's it for the zoning map change, and so now we need to discuss changing from the urban tier to the suburban tier. Long story short, our goal is for Parmer Edge to be more like RTP and less like downtown Durham, which means more green space, more trees, and more pervious surface, and less asphalt, less concrete, and less impervious surface. I won't go into this in great detail, but as you can see from this slide, in regards to street yard, side yard, and rear yard setbacks, the suburban tiers allows for much more green space between buildings and rights-of-way. The same principle applies to minimum lot areas and minimum lot widths. Again, the goal is to create a more RTP-like campus development. We envision Parmer Edge to be RTP North, but with more flexible zoning than the historic Science Research Park zoning that existed in RTP from around 1960 to 2025. Here's an excerpt from the 2005 future land use map that dictates the boundaries of the urban and suburban tier within Parmer Edge. And again, I want to thank Peyton for her outstanding staff report on this topic. As you can see from the purple shading, all of the area north of Glover Road was designated for industrial use back then in 2005 when this was adopted. The urban tier was essentially a 3-mile radius around downtown. Unfortunately, the tier boundary split this assemblage so that what we need is shown on this slide, and that is to bring all 185 or 190 acres into the suburban tier. This is very important because there is no watershed overlay and therefore no impervious surface limits for this section of Durham. And therefore, this proposed comprehensive plan amendment fosters more green space and pervious surface instead of asphalt, buildings, and impervious surface. In closing, I want to drill down a bit deeper on one point that is in your staff report. On page 7 of the staff report, I appreciated the reference to the 2020 Industrial Land Use Study our planning department published about 6 years ago. I have relied on this report many times since it was published in order to advise companies that want to increase and improve Durham's capacity for top quality economic development. I think it is also vital for the Planning Commission to know that in this 2020 land use study, the Planning Department evaluated 179 sites across all of Durham County. Based on that analysis, Parmer Edge is one of the top 5 sites in all of Durham County out of 179 industrial areas that the Planning Department looked at. And this site is very important for Durham's economic development when we look at the new job opportunities for Durham residents that have been approved by the City Council over the past 5 years. When I first started working in Durham in 1994 for the Chamber of Commerce, our only solid opportunities for economic development were RTP and Trayburn Corporate Park back in the 1990s. I realized that those good-paying jobs were pretty far away from the vast majority of Durham residents. In order to remedy that problem over the past 5 years, it has been my privilege to work on developing job opportunities much closer to Durham residents. The first one I worked on was with Scannell Properties back in August of 2021, and that was for 200 acres, and that was for 1.2 million square feet. That site also scored 14 out of 14 on the industrial land use study. A few months later, in February 2022, I also worked with Scannell Properties for an industrial park at NC 55 and Hobson Road. That was 235 acres and 1.2 million square feet. More recently, back in February of 2023, I worked on Welcome Venture Park, which was 160 acres with 1.2 million square feet. That's close to the Bragtown neighborhood. The site we're talking about tonight, Parmer Edge, was initially approved with 140 acres, and we're asking for your recommendation of approval to increase that to about 185 acres, zoned IL. And again, it's zoned. With that zoning, with that location, it scored 14 out of 14 with the industrial land use study. So as you can see, Parmer Edge is the most centrally located economic development site we have in Durham, and it has outstanding access to Durham Tech, so that job training is readily available for good-paying jobs that will be coming to Parmer Edge. For all these reasons, I respectfully ask for your recommendation of approval for Parmer Edge 2 zoning map change and comprehensive plan amendment. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. The chair is now opening the public hearing. Oh, I already did that. Never mind. Any community members in person? Nope. Anybody on the Zoom wishing to speak? Please raise your hand. Trina Hines.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, please state your address for the record.
Excellent. My name is Trina Himes, 1 Spring Glen Court, Durham, North Carolina, Grove Park Homeowners Subdivision. I represent the Grove Park community, here to address the critical role of the 750-foot ridgeline in the oversight of Parmer Edge Z26000002 and the surrounding corridor. This existence of this ridgeline is the feature that prevents construction runoff from flooding our basin. So to confirm, this ridge is not just a landscape feature, it's a functional natural infrastructure that is currently the only shield protecting our watershed from massive sediment failure. I did submit an image. Do you happen to have that available?
Yes, the city staff is working on providing it right now.
I'll continue. The Environmental Affairs Board has already reviewed this corridor and formally noted significant concerns regarding the sensitive Triassic basin soils and the cumulative impact on the Little Lick Creek watershed. Is my document? Yes. So as you can see, Parmer Edge is to the south. The 5502 Wake Forest site, which is in technical review, is to the north. Sharon Road project, which has already started, is to the east, create a triangle of risk. These projects are not isolated. So if the 750-foot ridge, which is the primary drainage divide, is not physically protected during the development of Parmer Edge 2, our community's $1.1 million private investment in lake restoration could be buried in sediment. The EAB's findings confirm that the standard UDO compliance is insufficient for this specific geography. So to ensure the integrity of this watershed, we're requesting that this board make 3 recommendations. The first is that the 750-foot ridge and all buffers must be physically staked by a licensed surveyor prior to the issuance of any land disturbing permits. And secondly, that the ridgeline be designated as non-disturbance area to maintain function of the drainage divide. And finally, consistent with the EAB recommendations, require frequent independent water sampling with results made available to the downstream stakeholders.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on the Zoom wishing to speak? Please raise your hand, *9. Nope. The applicant care to respond?
Yeah, I certainly appreciate the speaker's concerns, but the site shown on this graphic is 4 or 5 miles away from the application we submitted for a comprehensive plan amendment and a zoning map change. It's completely irrelevant. It's a different site. I honestly don't know how far away it is from the site I presented a minute ago, but I would guess 5 miles.
Okay, thank you. Public hearing is now closed. Commissioner discussion? Commissioner Capers?
With the recommendations that were just provided by our community member, with with those recommendations in mind, are those commitments that you can make, knowing that the distance is pretty far off? Could you make those commitments?
No, sir, this is completely irrelevant to Parmer Edge. I don't know why why the speaker brought up something that's 5 miles away. We have absolutely nothing to do with the Grove Park neighborhood.
I think her concern is about the triangulation of all of the pollution that could potentially happen with what development may take place at the Parmer Edge. And so what I'm just asking is there an opportunity for you to, knowing that this might not be as relevant as you claim, right? Is there a middle ground that we might be able to find to be able to prevent any of the development on Parmer Edge to ultimately get in the way of this water?
I honestly don't understand what the speaker was asking us to do, Commissioner. And the point of this slide is that we are actually between a freeway and 5 railroad tracks. And so I'm not aware of how anything that's developed at Parmer Edge would have an impact on other properties, given that the vast majority of the site is surrounded by freeways and multiple railroad tracks. It's just an irrelevant consideration.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Commissioner Ritchie?
Hey, Aaron, can we get that image up again?
I think I didn't close it, so Vivian, are you able to pull up that image back up from the last speaker, or do I need to open that again?
So just to clarify, what's bordering Highway 70 right now is not, this is a question for the applicant to clarify. This is not Parmer Edge, no, as sir, at least you're currently describing it?
Parmer Edge is actually on the other side of NC 70.
Yeah.
And Rigsby Road and Sharon Road do not connect as shown here.
My Google Maps has it about 6.5 miles away. The point being that I think that the concerns raised are very legitimate for an industrial park that would have been built right there, but this industrial park is not being built right there.
Right.
Any other questions? Commissioner Wouk?
Thank you. So I have some questions. So in the presentation you showed, oh my God, sorry, my phone, is saying that this is an environmentally focused area, and you mentioned having more green space. Mm-hmm. But there's comprehensive plan policies that aren't met. There's no tree coverage beyond the 10% required by the UDO. There's no natives. There's no green infrastructure. And I know when we're thinking about RTP, we think about all those things. And so those are, is there any, are you able to consider making any commitments to make this, in reality, a little greener than it currently seems?
Well, that's why, I appreciate the concern, Commissioner, and that's why we've put forward the much larger setbacks and spacing to create the green space in between the buildings and in between the buildings and the streets. The challenge with a site like this is it's 185 acres, give or take. We don't know how it will be built out because it could be one company or it could be 20 companies, as I showed on one of the slides. So Parmer is a master developer, and the point that Tim Cybers made about nurseries not having certain plants available at a given time is very important in the economic development realm. So I will take those concerns back to our team. We have a local team with Kinley Horn and the Parmer Edge folks, but we can't commit to anything specifically because we don't know how the site's going to be built out as of today.
Any other? Commissioner Montez?
This isn't a question, but we talk a lot about, we mainly see residential projects up here, and I couldn't be more excited to see a development like this, the potential investment that's going to come for potential college graduates here at Duke University, State, Chapel Hill, NC Central. I mean, I couldn't be, I hope council looks at this and sees the opportunity that is here to replicate or put another potential RTP here that really attracts talent and investment and makes Durham what Durham has the potential to be is something I'm super, super excited about. I have no questions. I know the design of this is a long ways out, but I appreciate you bringing this case forward and the developer bringing more potential to the city of Durham. So yeah, I just want to give those words. Super excited about this.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? So my understanding is the reason that there's a lack of native plants inventory is because they're slower to grow than some of the other plants that grow. Perhaps if this is going to be a science campus, they can do some studies on how to genetically modify the plants so they can remain native but grow faster, so we can all be happy and have enough native plants that are growing fast enough. Anyway, just
No,
my
I
2
appreciate
cents
the
worth.
concern. I'll certainly take it back to our team. We'll do the best we can. I just can't commit to a specific percentage at this point in time. What's funny is that I was in RTP a few weeks ago at one of the, you know how you drive through RTP, there's a lot of greenhouses. They're working on seedless blackberries. Think about what a game changer that would be. If we could have seedless blackberries. So we'll see how that
They're native
works
as
out.
long as they grow fast.
Exactly. Well, they do grow fast. Yep. So we appreciate it. I'll take those concerns back to our team, and we'll do the best we can.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to move case Z26 quadruple 02 Parmer Edge 2 forward with a favorable recommendation?
Are we motioning both right now? Just one. Got it. Chair, regarding case Z26 quadruple 02, I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation for approval.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Ritchie and seconded by Commissioner Capers to move this case forward with a favorable recommendation. May we have the electronic voting, please?
The motion passes 8-1 with Commissioner Wouk voting no.
May I have a motion to move case A26 quadruple 01 Parmer Edge Light Industrial Park tier change forward with a favorable recommendation?
Chair, regarding case A26 quadruple 01, I move that we forward this case to City Council with a favorable recommendation for approval.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Ritchie and seconded by Commissioner Capers to move this case forward with a favorable recommendation. May we have the electronic voting, please?
The motion passes 9-0.
All right, item 8 on the agenda, committee updates. Any committee updates?
None that I'm aware of, and Vice Chair Cameron is not here to speak on behalf of the Rules of Procedure Committee, so I think we would table that till next week unless
Next
somebody
week,
has
okay.
something to say about that.
Number 9, new business.
Yes, I would like to bring one issue before you. I have heard from several commissioners that they will not be available in July. It is quite possible we'd have one item on your agenda because of a deferral request for an item that was to be heard in June. An opponent has requested a deferral, and the UDO allows for that for 30 days. So we would need to bring that to you in July unless we are not going to have a quorum. And in that case, we would want to notify the applicant and move that to August. So I don't need your answers immediately, but I will be sending out an email in the next day or so. Please respond to that quickly. If you know, I know of at least 3 or 4 of you that have already said you're not going to be able to be here in July. So I'd like to get a count so that we can plan accordingly in the next couple of weeks.
And there's currently nothing else on the July agenda, so it would just be like
There would
one.
possibly be one other. I don't expect us to have more than 2 cases on a July agenda. That is, if we can have one, if we have quorum. But seeing as how we barely made quorum tonight, and this is May, and a lot of people travel in July, I would like to get a head count as soon as possible for July, so we can plan accordingly and let our applicants know when they should be prepared to be here.
Okay, thank you. Number 10, staff announcements. None. Nope.
None.
Number 11, adjournment. We're adjourned, 7:24.